order to get it, you basically got to, swap fluids or poop. Feces matter. Will do it. It's kind of, if you read about it, like the most popular way is people just not washing
Or
their
evidently,
hands.
eat at the salad bar on a
Yeah.
Carnival cruise ship, or
Well, I mean, that's because people didn't wash their hands and their little poopy particles got on your food.
yeah, well, I don't know. Probably, I
They're
would
really
say,
selling me on the cruise ships
well, in
here.
like the last
Yeah.
15 years, all the illnesses and the weird shit that happens on cruise ships, I'm like, there is no fucking way in hell that you could pay me to take a cruise. I could think of a million better ways to spend my vacation time.
Man, I mean, I wouldn't want to do a cruise, but if I could go on like a big scale yacht and just party like billionaires for, a week or two, I would do that. I might kill myself on something like that. And I have way too much fun.
Like,
But the cruise ship, I don't know, man. I'm not really into that either. I would much rather just go into a fucking rent a hotel room and get a suite or something with a meeting room and just game the fuck out with my friends.
right.
You know?
Well, and Kate tonight, she's like, maybe one year we'll go to Boston for St. Patrick's Day. I'm like, oh shit, I don't know that I can actually handle that. I that might actually kill me. I, I'm not sure that I would be able to to withstand that. I'm too old for that now.
Yeah, if I ever go to London, I'm fucked because I have so many friends that live there from playing play by post on Traveler
Right.
for a long time. But they're like, man, if you ever come to London, man, just let me know and we will go to the behind the scenes pubs and all. So I'm kind of scared, because
Yeah.
well, he's into that crazy shit where they put on plate mail and hit each other with swords and
Oh
shit.
yeah, yeah. The yeah. Uh,
I mean,
Society
they're
for
really
Creative Anachronism.
some shit like that. I mean, but they're really fighting. So I mean,
Well, I here a couple of years back, I was debating on going. There was two cons that were kind of back to back, and so we were kind of looking at travel to London. Um, and the first con was for Elite Danger, or not Elite. Yeah, it was just before Odyssey came out, so it was for Elite Horizons, and um, and then the week following that was a Traveler Con, and we were seriously debating about making the trip, but the weird thing is it's really strange. So going back to the cruise ship idea is like, so you can get on a cruise ship and you can take this cruise ship down to the Bahamas and you can catch the neurovirus and the COVID and all of that on the cruise ship because that's what's gonna happen to you, and statistically, and you're gonna spend a shit ton of money. However, you can fly from Portland, Oregon. You can catch a flight, and of course, it's multiple connecting flights. But you catch a flight from Portland, Oregon, all the way to Nassau in the Caribbean, and it is like a quarter of the cost of what you would pay to take a cruise ship. And you're not stuck on their itinerary. You can do whatever the fuck you want, which I'm a huge fan of. I'm like, I'm on vacation. I'm not working on anybody else's time.
You can spend way more time at your destination rather than just traveling there.
Yeah, that's true. So I don't know. We're actually, I mean, we had to put it on hold all because of the pandemic and stuff. But we are actually planning um, two trips. One to Nassau, and then another one to. We're gonna hit all of the old pirate ports in Florida and Carolinas. So it should be an interesting trip. Honestly, I'm looking more forward to Nassau, but
I was a pirate when it was legal. Well, back when you could you could copy software legally, and I mean, in fact, you could buy like Fast Hack'em and Fast Hack'em
Right.
2,
Yeah.
where you could just, here, let me help you steal this software so
Back
you can
when
give
it
it to your
was
friends.
all questionable on what's hacking and what's shareware. And,
Right. Yeah, my hacker name was Rock Hardware. It was also going to be my porn name, but I never was able to get into the porn industry, sadly.
Sadly.
Well, it's probably best.
Yeah, I've never been too attracted to cruises. I mean, I guess I can understand.
I thought
like
you were fixing to tell me you just had a long line of porn flicks that you starred in or something.
No, I mean, like the cruise ships up, like the cruise to Alaska, where you're seeing the the Arctic. That makes sense because it's a view that you really
You can't get it any other way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Or the ones that go around Iceland. The river cruises up the Danube, that sounds like that would be.
Yeah, some of the river cruises that they do, and they've got them in a number of places. But yeah, those look like they could be interesting.
And on those, you're traveling at night, and then so you wake up and you're at the next port, and so then you spend the time at the next port, and then you travel at night, and then so that makes a lot of sense. But these giant cruises where you're just at sea for days at a time with a bunch of idiots that you don't really want to spend time with just doesn't appeal to me at all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like I said, I mean, since at least 2008 or so, maybe earlier than that, all you hear about, especially, and the season's coming up here, it's towards the end of spring and all through the summer and like into the beginning of fall. All of these ships, it's like once a week. Oh, such and such Carnival cruise ship was quarantined because of norovirus. Such and such a cruise ship was quarantined because of a flu outbreak. I mean, you name it. I mean, I think one ship had a measles outbreak, and it's like, hey, wait, didn't we all get shots for that? I mean, but whatever, like no thanks. I mean, I could spend less money, go to a hotel in Vegas and have a better time.
Sure.
And probably not get sick. Hungover, yes, but
and you can get the same bar and food treatment, man, just by going and hitting a place with a nice beach.
Right.
For sure.
And you would, you'd still come out ahead even paying beach prices. Then the racket you're going to be on the.
Well, the other one that cracks me up is these people that are like, oh, well, all the stuff you hear on the news about traveling to Mexico, oh, it's much safer than what they're saying. The fuck it is.
They just killed some motherfuckers going to get a tummy tuck.
Like,
I mean, my God.
No, it is not safe. What the fuck?
I get it depends on where you're going, but yeah.
Oh, it was a Brazilian butt lift, evidently, that they were going to get when two of them got killed and the other two. There was like a group of four. This was just in the news.
I worked with this girl when I worked at Opticraft. I worked with this girl from Mexico, and I forget which town it was. But she had pictures, and it was absolutely gorgeous. It was a resort town,
Yeah.
and she told me she came over and she had been sending money back via Western Union to her. I want to say was it her? Oh no, it was her husband. She was sending money back to this town in Mexico on the coast, idyllic town. I mean, looking at the pictures, I'm like, why'd you leave? And so then she tells me this story. And so she got over here, she got a job, she's sending money back via Western Union to her husband so that he can have enough money once it's saved up to make his way over, right? Okay. Except that the local drug gangs caught on to the fact that, every week on this such and such a time, this motherfucker's going to Western Union and picking up a lot of cash. And so they met him outside around the corner from the Western Union and killed him and took the money. Well,
oh, man.
Her cousins found out who did it, contacted another local drug lord, And to make to make an example of these a-holes, I mean, this is how the Aztecs work, man.
Yeah,
those are some bloody motherfuckers. Man. He was upstairs in a bar shooting pool in this little resort town. These desperados go upstairs, shoot him 14 times, throw his body down the stairs, and drag it out into the street and use a machete to decapitate him and leave it in the middle of the street as a message to everybody else to not do that shit anymore. And it stopped it for a couple of months. I'm like, well, it's hard to argue with that kind of message.
And we think Strahd is a bad guy.
I know, right? Yeah, no, I mean, this literally really happened. And so I'm like, yeah, no, and that was a resort town. Like, that was one of the good places. No, I don't want to go to Mexico. I mean, I would love to go to Mexico. Probably not ever going to happen. Maybe when I was younger and dumber, but,
I went to military school with a bunch of rich kids from Mexico. It was like 25% of the population were rich, wealthy Mexican kids from Mexico. And, they were from all over, from Nuevo Laredo, Mexico City, whatever. And some of them were kids of drug lords. My company commander was. And as a sophomore, I knocked his ass out in the boxing ring, and it was great. There was the culture there, though. I mean, if you got into it with somebody, you could challenge somebody bigger than you and older than you or equal to the boxing ring. And
yeah, because in the boxing ring, rank doesn't matter. If they accept, rank's not an issue.
That's right.
Yep.
And I ate his ever-loving ass up, man. He gave me hell on inspections and shit and rode my ass. And, man, I was feeling cocky, and I called his little blubbery, pudgy ass out. And I did. I lit his ass up. And that's one of the shining moments in my life. I fucked that dude up, man. It was great. And then I was calm. I kind of, but it's not like I jumped the dude or picked a fight with him,
right.
Yeah. He used to call me Gaylor instead of Taylor, and that pissed me off. So, yeah.
So I don't know if Glenn's going to make it. He, poor guy. So he has a sleep disorder where he acts out his dreams in his sleep. And evidently he had a rather... I don't know if it was a nightmare or if he was chasing somebody or whatever, but the poor guy fell out of his bed. And I mean, he's 70. And so I fell in the shower and about fucked my ass up for a week. So I totally feel him. So I don't know that, I think he might still be a little sore and tender from falling out of bed. And I hope he gets better and he will join us. Poor guy.
This will be the week we kill lots of people, and he'll miss it.
Right? Yeah, he's been waiting. He's been waiting with bated breath to kill a bunch of people, and here it is. But which is why he joined our Pirates of Drydock campaign, and now they're getting all political and diplomatic and shit. Poor guy. He just can't win for losing. But yeah, I hope Glenn's going to get better, and hopefully we'll see him. Jeff said that he's out, so no JT. He's doing something. Don't know what. Hope he's having a good time. And yeah, so here we are. Welcome.
Comedian Mike Birbiglia has that sleep disorder. He jumped out of a hotel window, second floor.
Oh shit! Yeah, no, I'm okay with sleep apnea then. I guess. I mean, it's better than the alternative.
Yeah, he brings a mummy sleeping bag with him wherever he goes, so that he can kind of lock himself up.
And he wears mittens, so he can't unzip it.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I mean,
pretty funny.
When I got the CPAP, my wife was all happy. She's like, "Oh my god, I sleep so much better because you snore so loud." And I'm like, it could be worse. I could be acting out and beating the shit out of you in my sleep.
We always joke that those are snorkels, so you can hotbox. You can just fart like crazy,
right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, that's probably the worst. Is somebody that just launches a gas attack for hours at a time.
I don't have to worry about it. I wear an environment suit while I sleep.
Yeah,
so.
your CPAP's a snorkel, so you're fine.
That's right.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. God.
Welcome to Deepnight Revelation as we repair the world. via CPAP and sleep disorders and
Yeah.
cruise ships. We will be picking up where we left off last week. These guys have arrived at Giikur Naval Base. They've all been separated and individually debriefed. And since they've been debriefed, they're now sitting around their underwear, and they are going to. The intelligence officer has told them that they have a historic and unique opportunity ahead of them. But before we get started with that, we would like to thank one of the friends of the Greenwater Guildhall. None of these are sponsorships or partnerships of any kind. They're just products that we really like. And tonight we would like to thank Speechless Bard. Speechless Bard makes beautiful leather products for your tabletop role-playing games, such as leather covers for your core rulebooks. She's got a line of dice bracelets that have the dice cutouts on them, and they're customized. So they can be metallic or multiple colors, however you want to do it. She does amazing work. All of her work is done by hand because she is just an absolutely fantastic artist. If you're going to order from Speechless Bard, keep in mind that she is over in the UK. So if you're here in the US with the rest of us, it's going to take a little bit of time to cross the pond and get over to you, especially with the shipping issues that we are still dealing. You know, if you'd have told me 3 years, I understood what was going on with the pandemic, but if you'd have told me that we'd still be dealing with this shit, you know, a year and a quarter after the quote unquote end, the end of the pandemic, I just said there's no way they'll figure something out. Well, evidently they haven't figured anything out, and here we are. But I highly recommend her. So go check her out. If you're a fan of our Traveler game, check out our website via Obsidian Portal down in the description. The adventure log is written in the manner of news service or internal news memos. This has been updated this week. It was this week, wasn't it? And Monday seems like so long ago. But it has been updated. I'm going to try and be more diligent about setting time aside to update that page. I've got a pile of writing projects on my desk, and I kind of been buried. So it has been updated, so check it out. If you like what you see, please go to the front page, give us a thumbs up. We do like to see the fan likes, and we hope you enjoy it. So you guys have arrived at Giikur Naval Base. Like I said, you've been all individually debriefed about what happened on DKB-1 Alpha, and essentially, I am assuming that you guys all gave an honest account.
With the exception of mentioning or referring to any psionic abilities by me or my crewmates.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, yeah. So
I will, though, write up a thing saying that I suspect the artifact over there has psionic impressions, and people with any kind of psionic things viewing that, you know, I will write a theory up, but it will be based on my psionic knowledge, just worded in such a way that makes it look like I'm just pondering or giving an opinion.
So this lieutenant with the Imperial Intelligence Bureau, and I mean, so he's wearing so naval uniforms in the Imperium are a burgundy color, including the Marines. Some people call it red. It's not. It's like a burgundy.
Like your dice?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Yes, a lot like that. It's a very dark color. And I always question that, and like, oh, okay, so you're going to drop a bunch of Imperial Marines in essentially bright red, so everybody can see them. But I don't think the Imperial Marines in battle dress are too worried about people seeing them. But this guy's not wearing that. He's wearing an almost black uniform with red piping. or burgundy piping. And he has insignias on his left shoulder that are both Imperial Navy, Imperial Scout Service, and there's a third insignia that you've seen before, but is not common knowledge. It is Imperial Intelligence, and it is kind of a silver logo. And so this guy is he's got his fingers in a lot of pies. But his rank shows he is a lieutenant, and he after going over all of your reports, he reads Bocephus's report and kind of reading this once you're all in the room together. He's just kind of nodding his head and tells you, he says, it is, your report is as I expected. And then he brings up on the screen, which takes up an entire wall behind him. Basically, they're intelligence dossiers of each of you, with a picture, your work history, all the shit that you have been doing since, at least since the whole Deepnight Endeavor situation. And he says, he looks at all of you and he says, well, after having read your dossier, and then reading your reports, and going over the other survivors' accounts, because remember, you guys saved some people. He says, you do not disappoint in your actions. You are quite impressive. And he says, I have talked it over with some of the higher-ups, and we have an exciting, unique, and historic opportunity that we would like to present to you.
Okay. We do try to make our lives entertaining for those watching us.
He says, he kind of chuckles at that, and he says, well, you won't have as large of an audience with this opportunity. At least not for the main part. He says, so the opportunity is that, well, before we go into that, this on the screen here, this is Giikur system. It is a binary star system. Giikur is actually 0.4 AU, which a little close, but yeah, it has a orbiting naval base. Giikur, the planet, as you can see, is either frozen or baked, which tells us that the planet is tidal locked. And yeah, you probably want to live along these equatorial regions here, or else you're gonna have a shitty life. But out the window, and you guys aren't, you haven't been led into this. This isn't anything in particular. You see that there is a Drydock out the window, and in this Drydock is a MR class cruiser. And it looks like, and from what you can, I mean, you've seen enough Drydocks before. It looks like the scaffolding is in the process. Most of it is being dismantled, taken down, and jettisoned. And so whatever is going on with this particular MR class is about complete. And he says, so this unique and historic opportunity, on behalf of the Imperial Navy and on behalf of Deepnight Exploration LIC, Limited Imperial Corporation. Let me fix this. He says, on behalf of the Navy and Deepnight Exploration LIC, we would like to offer you berths aboard an exploration vessel traveling to the edge of the rift, the rimward edge of the Great Rift. This is going to be far beyond charted space. And he basically goes in and he tells you that, so if you remember, it was the professor, what was her name? Her name was... She was the professor that was running the observatory.
I know who you're talking about, but her name slips me.
I know, right?
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, I just completely had a brain fart on that.
It's okay. Just don't exhale at anybody's face.
Here she is. Dr. Simone Keene. She had basically done some research and was using the telemetry on the telescope to kind of correlate some of the ramblings of this previous researcher that had gone a little bit space crazy after viewing the carvings. And she determined that, or she postulated that the carvings were a star map, which you guys also had a theory about. And
I mean, it looked like one.
Yeah, I mean, well, and it does. And so she, between she using her telescope and listening to this woman's ramblings and viewing the carvings herself on a couple of occasions, she had taken to calling this, there is an end point that she's referring to as terminus point. Now, we believe that yours is now, you have had 2 documented encounters with this strange fungal entity that we are, since the Endeavor incident, we are referring to as the Deepnight entity. We, based on your observations and all of the technical data that we've gotten, as well as the ramblings of a near insane woman in an asylum, we have determined that that the name Terminus Point is valid on multiple fronts. Not only is it literally, as was described, how did she put it? The place beyond everything where extinction lies, but
yeah, that doesn't sound good.
But also, whatever is there is coming here, and we can't have that, because if any of this fungus or mold or whatever it is, if any of those spores reach a habitable world, and if it gains foothold, it would be unstoppable. I mean, if you think of something like this reaching something like Tobiah, I mean, Tobiah is almost like Coruscant in Star Wars. The planet is covered by city. If this was to happen there, the entire planet would be consumed.
I mean, it's looked like to me like, at least in our last time that we encountered it, I mean, it was like a long time ago, a ship got contaminated, and they were rather high technical level, and they tried to self-destruct. The last ship just found a little piece of that, and after the explosion and everything to do it, it was still contaminated in such a way that it made a change in the crew that found it. I mean, it was just those little bitty particles just floating in orbit in stasis for all those many, many years still had the potency to turn people when they started poking and prodding on it.
Well, it's actually worse than that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's great.
So I can't wait to find a planet full of this shit.
So he tells you, he says that some of the stuff that you weren't aware of is that so Deepnight Endeavor, it wasn't just small particles. You were correct. From what we can determine, it looks like a ship possibly of droid manufacture.
Yeah.
Is what was encountered in the orbit around Alpha. And it does appear that they attempted to not only self-destruct, it appears to us that they attempted to sterilize the planet and then self-destruct.
Did their methods in sterilizing the planet, have you been able to deduce what that is?
So
because it did seem to retard the fungal growth.
So my question,
did you to test that?
So my question is, did you give over any of your scientific findings as far as working on an antidote or a vaccine or anything like that? Did you turn over any of that?
Yes, I did that.
So he does tell you. So he says yes. They were onto something, and he says, and Dr. Bocephus, you're onto something. We think. Now, of course, this is all hypothetical, and it'll be something that you'll have to continue to research. And unfortunately, the only way to find out if this is successful is in the field, and which is one of the reasons why you have all been given this opportunity. But he tells you that some of the logs were recovered from Endeavor before it went kablooey in a nuclear disaster. And he tells you that evidently they had detected a derelict ship. And he says that from the sensor data from that scout ship that went out to check out this derelict, that it seems that that particular ship was of droid manufacture as well, but it wasn't destroyed. It was destroyed, but it was fully intact, and it was floating adrift. And that ship was also infected, and we don't know if it came from Alpha or if it came from somewhere further out. But from what we can determine is that that ship had interacted with a comet, and the comet is where they picked up the spores. So whatever this stuff is, or whatever this Deepnight entity is coming this way via comets and other detritus and kind of infecting things along the way. And we need to investigate. There seems to be some kind of intelligence behind it. We need to investigate it. We need to research it, and we're going to put the idea of this, should you accept, is that we will put into your hands it will be your decision on whether to ultimately parlay with whatever this intelligence is or destroy it completely and utterly. And he says, now, of course, that part of the mission and what we're offering you does not leave this room. The official mission, and also this really is an official part of the mission, is that since you will be leaving charted space into the unexplored, is to explore. You're going to be out there checking out new planets that nobody has ever set foot on. You'll be checking out new civilizations that nobody has had contact with. And we want all of that data recorded so that when you come back, we can update our records. It's essentially a massive scout mission to the edge of our known galaxy. Having said that, if you accept this mission, the minimum one-way trip is 10 years. That's from here to there. And then it would be another 10 years to come back. But, I mean, we are prepared. The mission is stating, minimum of 20 years round trip. It could be as high as 28 years.
So with that in mind, okay, since the time we've character created, right?
Yep.
Would you over a year's gone by at least, right?
Yeah, about almost 2 years.
Okay, so we should add 2 to our age.
Yeah, you can.
Well, I mean,
and that's interesting that you bring that up, because I've thought about that, and this is one of those weird things that GMs sometimes think about, especially in sci-fi games. It's like, well, how much time did it go by? Should I tell everybody to increase their character age? I mean,
well,
is that really that important?
I mean, yeah.
For the 4-year mark, it makes a difference.
Yeah. That's true. So yeah,
we're getting skills. We're growing.
Yeah,
I mean, we're controlling these entities that we've created in their lives, and let's let them live it out. We're getting a good medical base. We're well on our way to producing our own agenomics. Just let me have a little time to get my lab set up.
Yeah,
and I will cure us of age.
You can cure aging by joining the entity.
Yes.
You'll live on forever. So
that is one of their selling points.
Yes, there is a pro to this. So he tells you, he says, this is not a mission for the faint of heart. And he points out the window at this ship, and he says, that is Deepnight Revelation. The Deepnight Exploration Company has been given a quote-unquote demilitarized Amara class cruiser. Now, when I say demilitarized, so they did some negotiating, and it is armed. It's not armed as heavily as a normal Amara class cruiser is. But one of the things that it did retain is its spinal mount particle beam weapon. And initially, the Navy was going to tear that out. And because Deepnight had actually rallied to keep it, because the particle beam weapon can actually be used for scientific research, especially in nebulas and gas clouds, things of that matter. And so originally the Navy was like, well, we'll tear it out and we'll put in a smaller one. But then, military being what they are, they looked at it and they're like, well, that's going to cost us a lot of money. Fuck it, just keep the original. And so it has the original particle beam mount weapon on it. It is capable of J4. It is rated as a 75,000 ton vessel, but in reality it's like a 59 something ton vessel. But J4 is rated for 75. These side pieces here are actually compartments. So one of the things about the Amara class, and actually all of the what is now known as the Planet class cruiser, the current edition is Planet class cruisers, is that these can be swapped in and out. And so there's compartments that can be added or subtracted, and this particular configuration is the Amara. And I will show you a bit more. Actually, well, I'll show you this first. So these are the stats for Deepnight Revelation. You can go ahead and look those over.
This is a nice ship.
It's a big boat, yeah. And that big, and it still has thrust 4. That's impressive. And one of the things that Deepnight is equipped with is a deep space maneuvering system. And so, with the way maneuver drives usually work, a maneuver drive on your standard ship, and just about anything that you guys have piloted usually, is that it requires you to be in a system. So, having said that, that means that there is other bodies of mass around. And it essentially converts gravity into thrust. I mean, that's a huge layman's term, but that's really the easiest way of describing it. If you get out into deep space and there's no mass around, your thrust, you might have a thrust 6 ship and think you're shit hot in a system. You get out, you misjump, and you're in deep space, and now all of a sudden you've got a thrust rating of half. Like, not half of 6, but like 0.5, because there's nothing around to propel you. The deep space maneuver system actually fixes all of that, and it is capable of delivering thrust in deep space without. It basically creates an artificial gravity well, or it tricks the system into thinking there's an artificial gravity well, and so this is capable of maneuvering in deep space, so that if you jump into an empty hex, you can, if hopefully that there's like something like a comet or something like that, you can refuel from the comet and still putt around. And then let's see what else. These are the individual pods that are. There we go. There's scientific pods, mission pods, and hangar pods.
They've got weapons too.
They do.
Oh wow, that scientific pod is the shit.
Yeah.
It's got a training facility in it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Well, you mean you got to give lectures? You're a scientist. You have to give lectures. That's like 2/3 of your time is giving lectures.
Oh yeah, y'all know I hate to talk.
Most of your time, of course, and we'll get into this, will be spent on the mission pod. But we'll get into that. Okay. And then
now, while we're here, though, I mean, and we're talking, are they equip these things out with like the bioreaction chambers, a nice technical level of them with a decent fat liter number assigned to it?
Yeah.
Or am I going to have to bring my own? And then do the workshops have fabricators?
Yeah.
In them, or do we have to supply their own?
No, they have tech level 15 fabricators, biomass reaction chambers, the whole 9 yards.
Well, that's wonderful shit.
The only thing that you would have to worry about, of course, in a mission this size, is that a lot of this is going to be scrounging for resources. You're going to have to find resources and mine them from planets. Some of it, I mean, sometimes you might have to land on a planet just to go on hunting missions for food. I mean, you can only carry so much supplies.
And maintenance, ship maintenance.
And ship maintenance, right. Yeah, you're going to have to, manufacture your own iron, crystal iron parts, things of that matter.
Okay. So we need to take or get some people with some belter skills.
So here are deck plans.
Crew, I imagine.
These are the manageable deck plans that I put up, but
manageable.
Well, and I'll show you.
It's a big boat. Yeah.
I'll show you what unmanageable looks like, if I can get it to.
Oh no, you're good. This gives me something great to scan through.
Well, there is.
Oh, wow.
There is a full-size
Oh, hell yeah!
poster PDF. Here.
We got Glenn coming in.
Oh, sweet! Honorable Randolph.
Well, you know.
Good evening.
Hello, Glenn.
Hey, how you
What's
doing?
up?
So to
I heard, but that's okay.
to catch you up, these guys are being offered a berth on Deepnight Revelation. This is the deck plans of the vessel, and actually I am... here we go. I will show this to players. I don't know. Did that actually work?
No, not really.
There we go. It's starting. It's coming up.
Yeah, it's a big poster, but it is essentially this poster. I think the original idea is that you lay it out on your game table, and people can say, "Oh, well, I'm right here," and they'll put a mini there or whatever. And it's questionable even for that, but at least everybody would be able to see it. If you are really, really, really technically minded, I do have blueprints of an Amara class cruiser, like actual blueprints. So I did get the Element Cruiser box set, so let me know if you want blueprints. If you want to really get into the engineering shit, Glenn, you could be my guest, but they are huge. They are massive, massive sized PDFs.
Yeah, it is big and slow.
You have any STLs?
I do not. Well, you got a 3D printer?
Only one?
Yeah, I still need to get a 3D printer.
Well, this is pretty badass.
So
it's definitely a badass ship.
So basically, this is your top secret mission. The primary part is to get to Terminus Point, in 10 to 15 years, and determine if you can.
Does this thing have jump 10?
Jump 4.
Oh, it's going to take more than a year.
Well, 10 to 15 years is the one-way trip. So they're estimating at minimum the round trip on this will be 20 years. It could be as high as 28.
This I can believe.
Now, the first thing that he wants you to know is that you will be, should you accept this mission, you will be compensated. And the other part of this is that your team will be fairly autonomous. So he says that the route that he's wanting to go with you guys is that you're going to be troubleshooters. First in, last out kind of situation. Because
glad I bought a flame rifle.
Yes. Yeah, same. And the reason that you would be the troubleshooters is because you have shown time and again in all, and like I said, on the wall behind you is all of your dossiers of everything you've done essentially since the Endeavor incident. And he says you've shown time and again the ability to scout out a situation, figure out a solution. A lot of times you figured out a solution that didn't involve gunplay. And that's really what we need on an exploration mission. But at the same time, you have shown the ability to determine when gunplay is required, and you're not afraid to use it. And he just kind of looks at Jack. Or knives. So you guys would be part of the mission branch. You would be troubleshooters. you would be mission operatives, I guess. You would be the SG-1 of Stargate. Now, having said that, you would also be advisors to the command crew. And let's see
here. Anyone on the command crew briefed in on our mission?
The whole ship is briefed in on the whole mission. Everybody knows what the mission is, but everybody is under.
I think he means of our past missions.
Oh well, the captain is and the command crew. This is the organizational structure of Deepnight. So there's the mission commander, of course, an executive officer. They have 12 personnel. There's the chief mission officer with 92 personnel, chief operations officer with 132, chief flight officer, who is third in command with 57 personnel, and chief engineering officer, fourth in command with 195 personnel. You would be kind of floating around this with your own. You would technically be a part of missions, but you would have your own autonomy and rank structure, and you would have individual. They would count on your input with the mission commander. And like he said, this potentially could be a high risk situation. As the troubleshooting crew, like I said, you'd be first in, last out.
Sounds cool to me. Hopefully they'll take sound advice.
Now he says, as far as compensation goes, I can tell you that, until you leave charted space, you will be given a payment of 8,000 credits per month. Now, once you, well, I should show you this. So he brings up another hologram, and this shows on the back wall. And so he shows you, this is the projected, holographic image. This shows you the projected course of Deepnight Revelation over the next 10 to 15 years. And keep in mind, you're presently like somewhere over here. If you look in, the Trojan Reach. So you have to get from here to here, which is a long ways. And he tells you, he says, really, your mission really starts here at Demnon. And there will be a refit crew there. We've already sent the ship a refit crew, and they have gone ahead and set up an advanced base at Point Demnon. When Deepnight Revelation reaches that point, you will spend an amount of time there that is required to do ship repairs, refit, and whatnot. That will be the last chance for any crew to depart. So if people decide that this is not for them, they can depart at that point and can go home with the engineering crews that are already at Demnon. But aside from that, from there on, you will be in uncharted space completely, up to your own devices, finding your own supplies, and essentially researching everything that you see along the way. How does this... Now, when you come back, obviously from Point Demnon on, you won't have any need for a monthly stipend because there will be nowhere for you to spend it. That money will be put into a trust, and when you get back, it is estimated that that trust will be worth somewhere in the realm of 12 mega credits per person.
I love the sound of that.
You basically, when you get back, you can all retire.
Well, in 28 years, I might want to.
We may need to retire in 28 years.
Right.
No, I'm gonna have us brand new bodies, buddy. You just wait. Within 20 years, I'll be able to build you a brand new body and just switch the brain over.
I'll be 68.
You'll be Shambler-tastic, but
Well, I might have to use some of that Shambler technology to pull off what I have planned for all of our bodies. Yes.
Just stay away from Lotraman. Your cybernetic implants will be fine. So this is the plan, and here again, if you really want, this is a more in-depth, and here again, I kind of wish these posters, this one loaded faster. I kind of wish these weren't so massive, but here is another more in-depth version of that map. Hopefully this loads a little faster for you.
Oh. Yeah, these PDFs aren't loading for me.
Yeah. We'll just have to go on the smaller scale of things, or you'll have to send us the stuff in a different method.
Yeah, this
one worked.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit of time.
I couldn't get that deck plan open.
Yeah, that deck plan is massive. Yeah.
Okay. So we are basically going to be our own little squad of heroes on this deep, long, dark.
You will be part of Endeavor. Oh, hold on here. I need to look up exactly how many they are, but it looks like
like the ship is stocked with plenty of backup characters. That's what it looks like to me.
Yes, there are plenty of crew on here. That is the truth.
Refer to those as love interests.
Do they wear red shirts?
28 years, you're gonna need to find somebody to hook up with.
Is the doctor from the last little place, is she coming with us?
She is.
All right. Is she on our staff? I mean, do we get to tell her around?
She's a part of the science team.
Okay. I want one of the medical bays for my own personal use. I'm just saying. I mean, while we're here talking about things we need,
put a tank of water in there.
So there are a number of small craft that will be aboard, and you will be given access to your own scout ship. These are specially designed scouts called the Deepnight Scout.
Boy, I have scout. I have pilot for that.
Yeah, they are 200 tons, thrust 4, jump 2.
200 tons?
Yep.
What's the range on those pulse lasers?
They're standard pulse lasers.
Like Gabe pointed out, we don't have the skills to even pilot or fire the guns of the ship.
Actually, yes, we do, because I have been investing in the turret skill.
No, he was talking about Deepnight Revelation, because it would require piloting capital ship, and none of you have
correct. That's right. But
I believe there's a capital ship turret skill, right? Isn't it?
I think believe you are correct. It was added in.
Mm.
It might be in the Great Rift, or it might have been added in the Element Cruisers box set. Element Cruisers box set has entire rules for running large ships, and I think one of the skills.
I stand corrected there.
I think one of the skills. I think you're right. It was gunner turret capital, and the reason for that being is that you don't man individual turrets on a capital ship. I mean, you man banks.
Yeah, capital is a specialization of gunner.
I have gunner turret too.
Right.
But you're not gonna have to worry about that.
We'll have plenty of time to work on those skills.
Yeah, they've got their own bridge crew and whatnot. Essentially, as far as the bridge crew goes, when major decisions, and they'll probably have weekly briefings that are going to put you to sleep, just like any business, because whether you want to admit it or not, military is a business. It just is. And so there will be weekly briefings that you will be in on as part of you will be considered a part of the command crew, and your input will be considered valuable. And it will be taken and weighed against other options. It may get to a point where you might be, each individual one of you may be put, for instance, Bocephus might be put into an advisory command role of the medical staff. Jack might be put into an advisory or command role of the Marine staff, etc.
I am the best doctor on this ship.
Well, you probably are. What's your medic at?
I'm at 4.
So, yeah, you probably are one of the best doctors on this ship. I mean, rank 4 is as high as I allow people to go in any skill, and the reason for that is that at rank 4, you are so notable in your position that people from across the sector, not the subsector, but from across the sector, are interested in coming to you or paying to have you come to them to fix their shit. So, I mean, if you're rank 4 as a pilot, you're like fucking Top Gun.
Yeah.
I'm rank 4 in engineering jump drive and rank 4 in tactics electronic scanners.
Yeah. So
that's badass too.
Yeah, you are some of the preeminent people in your fields, which is part of the reason why it earned you a berth on the ship. But it's not just that ability that has gained you that the berth. It is the fact that you can use your abilities and you're not autistic about it. It's not binary for you. You're able to look at all of the factors at play and make a decision on it. And so this is the offer to you. They will give you one of these ships, and that will be considered your ship. You are cleared to bring all of your personal equipment.
Oh, your weapons.
Yeah, mostly weapons. Including, if you would like, Randolph, you can bring your gecko. However,
good.
There are a number of these are other small craft that are available. The ship has a number of these pinnaces, which are essentially they're going to be used for sensor sweeps. So when basically, one of the current procedures is that when Deepnight comes out of jump, especially into a system that is unknown, but right now for the shakedown cruise, it will be any system. That when they come out of jump, Deepnight Revelation starts to do a complete scan of the system, and that means launching at least 2 pinnaces that will go out and also do scans so they can get a 3-dimensional view of the entire system that you're in. And so usually that whole thing will usually take, if you guys are moving quickly, you're talking 3 to 5 days for that kind of scan to to be done.
Sure.
And in the meantime, of course, Deepnight Revelation will be refueling. One of the other small crafts is the Deepnight Boat. These are good for just shuttling down to the surface of a world. The only what they consider small craft, which is your Deepnight Scout, your ships are the Deepnight Scouts are the only ones that have jump capability. I want to say that there's only 4 of those. There might be more than that, but don't blow up too many of them because you'll quickly run out. But those are the only ones with jump capability, and the idea of giving you that ship is that you can jump out ahead or off to the side and investigate something and then jump back and meet up at a later point with Deepnight Revelation. So it gives you some additional mobility that other small craft don't have. And then
it's also a tactical advantage to have those ships out if we get into a big fight. I mean, the more guns that we have floating about, the more. I mean, that's true. Just the way it works. I mean,
there will also be a number of ground vehicles. This is the first of them. The Ranger is a small Jeep that is convertible to like a truck kind of vehicle, 6-wheeler.
It's like a Ford Ranger.
Yeah, it's like a Ford Ranger. It's a 6-wheel drive cross between a Wrangler and a Ford Ranger.
Ford.
I'd rather have a Bronco.
Well, every model of Ford works with anal. You could say like the anal Mustang, anal F-150. all of them work. The whole line. You could just go over it in your mind. I mean, yeah, the anal Focus. I mean, it's.
The next one is the Scarier. The Scarier is a small, standard 4-wheel drive. It's basically the sport utility model. It's designed for, a crew of 2 that wants to zip around on a planet's surface quickly. The Ardent is their version of an ATV. It's basically the urban assault vehicle motorhome. And then last but not least is they have their own air raft, the Vendara, which basically it's like a floating school bus, and it's got like lab facilities and whatnot. But that back end can come off, and it can just be a flatbed for hovering around the world as well.
These are the least sexy designs I've ever seen. Every single one of these looks like.
Well, it's strictly utilitarian.
Yeah.
Talk about sexy though. Those arms look badass. I mean, to be able to pick shit up and collect it. I've spent a lot of time on construction sites, and I'm just saying, I could make a living with these fucking tools.
One of the things that I noticed when I looked at this is the first thing that dawned on me is that whoever drew these designs drew heavily from the initial, like the first moon lander, their rover, because that wasn't sexy either. I've seen go-karts that look better than that. And so here we are. This is definitely a function of her form. So,
love it.
But if Randolph wants, you can bring your
Gecko.
Your gecko. I know how attached you are to that.
Please, I'd like that. I could go see my baby.
So, now, having Bocephus had brought up the possibility of actually I should bring up this other map of combat, and so the biggest problem that we're going to have here is that you can't just fly straight to Demnon, and the reason for that is that there is a big cat in the room, the Aslan Herate, and yes, we have a treaty with the Herate. That's tenuous. There's basically what the treaty says is that the Aslan Herate will not invade any world within. I think it's like 30 parsecs of the Imperium territory, and the real reality of that is that truce, that treaty, is all bullshit, because the reality is that treaty was only signed with like 3 clans, and the Herate is not a singular governmental body. They are just a group of individual clans that sometimes talk to one another. And so it is our good luck that the rest of the clans have decided that they are honor bound to follow that treaty. And so far we're lucky with that. But there's no way that that they are going to be okay with a imperial 50 or 75,000 ton essentially a warship flying through their space. They're just not going to allow that. And so to get around that, after you do your shakedown run will be from you will leave Giikur Naval Base to travel to Hishumaki and transit from Hishumaki to Tobiah. From at Tobiah, there would be a big press event. There will be a big gala dinner, lots of drinking and champagne, hobnobbing with important people or people who think they're important. You will be interviewed by TNS news operators. He says that there is a projected concert to be done by one Tisney Zazzle, who was she's kind of a she's kind of a has-been. That she was a huge Hollow Star music video or Tridio star, and she kind of fell out of favor until she took over a world in the Trojan Reach and did a concert there and basically started a rebellion, and they placed her on the throne. And so she's kind of been using that planet as her comeback tour. She will be doing a show at Tobiah. So, I mean, there will be this whole press event. And then from Tobiah, you'll be traveling up the Drydock's chain through Yggdrasil, through the Florian League, and down through the extents. So, Vanguard reaches and the beyond, before you travel rimward to go around the Herate. Unfortunately, you have to go the long way.
So we'll be bordering going on through the Golden Empire.
Yes.
On the eastern side of the Aslan.
Yes.
Or western side of the Aslan Empire.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
Yeah, and he tells you, he says things are sketchy about intel that we get coming in from the extents. You know, one report says things are great, the other report says things are sketchy, and what we've determined, it really depends on what area you're in. So any data that you can gather as you go through on that will be much appreciated as well.
Well, cool. That sounds like an amazing, fun trip. I like to go to strange new places and do things.
And kill people.
So,
Yes.
So I'm assuming that there's
Jack.
places where we'll be dropping off data along the way that can be transferred back.
There will be some kind of there will be a data drop, but it is not expected that another ship will be coming behind you. I mean, possibly somewhere, 100, 200 years from now, maybe. But this is enough of a huge financial undertaking for the Imperium and for Deepnight Exploration that It's not like there's a second ship coming up behind you.
Got it.
Beautiful.
But yes, there
Way
will
to
be
have our back.
There will be periodic. Yeah, you guys are going to be completely on your own. But there will be periodic drops of a data buoy that should 200 years from now another mission come out this way, that somebody will be able to pick up your logs and not be completely in the dark. Now, as far as other missions, we are aware that the Soleimani have sent out other missions as well, and or their own missions. They, from what we can determine, it doesn't seem that the Soleimani are aware of the Deepnight entity at all. But the information that we have on the Soleimani missions is that it seems like they're sending missions rimward regularly, and from the data that we've recovered, first of all, they have been trying to reach this same point, VS-X, and they have a much quicker direct route. So be on the lookout for Soleimani. But it seems that the bulk of their mission is trying to get to the rimward, and our intelligence says that they've actually attempted to cross over to the Perseus Arm. So there's a possibility that you might meet other people heading out that way. But aside from that, that's all that we know about other missions, and you are it. We are not sending any others presently.
Well, it seems like it's a worthy ship to take on what the hell we're trying to do. If we're going to be isolated, at least have some power to ourselves.
Right. So I assume that you were all taking him up on this once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
Sign me up twice so I can get paid twice.
You want 25 grand mega credits?
Yeah.
So
we're really close to my hometown, my home planet at the moment.
So yeah, I mean, at this point, what is your home planet?
It is Voskod, which is about 6-7 sectors away to the northeast.
Sectors or parsecs?
Sectors.
Oh, that's a long ways.
Jumps. I mean, it's systems.
Yeah.
It's like 6-7 systems away.
Okay, so parsecs. So
yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So there is enough time if you want to do, if you are nearby, if you wanted to do a trip out to see family. I mean, assuming that you have something that's nearby, we would say that within 12 parsecs, if you wanted to jump out there and come back.
Gonna be gone for 28 years. Might be nice to.
Right.
You're gonna say hi. You're gonna pop in and say hi.
But I mean, if your home world or what have you is beyond 12 parsecs, then you'll have to write them a letter.
We're gonna be traveling through a lot of systems to get to where we're going, so we may be other folks might be able to find something on the way.
That's right. Yeah, or create new family.
Yeah, I intentionally picked the system pretty far out of the way, thinking we wouldn't go anywhere near it.
I mean, you will technically be sailors. They create new family all the time.
I do have bio reaction chambers. I can make you people. I just need some DNA samples.
From the medic bay, he's going to be churning out lifelike real dolls constantly. Here you go. Yeah. So, yeah. If you what are your plans essentially for and they have, like you said, within 12 parsecs, but they've got fast couriers, so they'll ferry you wherever you want to go, and a fast courier's jump 6. So
I'm just wanting to get my med bay. I mean, if we're taking like a time to do things, and I just want to set my medical bay up so I can be ready to roll. I guess I want to,
Did you still want to take a trip to Dyla Brow?
Nope. I have, man, with the weaponry in the locker rooms and all that's on this ship. I'm gonna spend my time setting myself up, training my monkey, and that's what I'm gonna be doing.
Okay.
Setting up my monkey's little quarters. I want to maybe set up some hydroponics in my quarters.
Okay.
Because I have the hydroponics skill.
Jack, what do you got anything planned before? Jack? Mr. Gabriel?
Jack? Where'd you go?
He just said he's in. Okay. What about Randolph?
Randolph's fine with this.
Okay. And
I won't be alive into 28 years, but
well, hopefully it won't take us 28 years to play, but this is a big campaign. Sarda.
Yeah, I want to run up to Voskod, which is the just pretty close.
Okay, so tell us what are your plans while you're on Voskod?
Visit family and friends,
okay.
And basically say goodbye for 28 years, and obviously not giving away much of what I'm doing, other than I've got a very long mission I'm taking for
big exploration mission.
Yeah, big exploration mission. I'll be gone for quite a while, and so just spending time with family and stuff.
While you're on Voskod, it's not, I wouldn't say at this point, it's not all over the news. I mean, keep in mind, for the past couple of years, you guys have been working out in the Great Rift. But evidently for the past, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, this was big news when Deepnight Exploration LIC was given the contract by the Imperium. And so it was on all the time. They every couple of hours there was a new broadcast about it.
So that shows where Voskod is in relation to Giikur.
Gotcha.
In the chat, so you can see up close.
So, this was on the news constantly a couple of years back, and it's kind of died down. And it's now gone to political pundits and economists saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe the expenditure that the Third Imperium is spending on this." And after the Endeavor situation, where their stocks plummeted, this is really nothing more than a veiled bailout of Deepnight Exploration. I mean, they were going to go completely under with their stocks dropping after losing Endeavor, one of the namesake ships of the Deepnight Corporation, and here it is, the Imperium giving them the capital and a cruiser in order to do this ridiculous exploration mission. And a lot of these pundits, as you might expect, are like, who cares what's beyond charted space? We need to think about our own financial futures, blah, blah, blah. And Emperor Strefan just said, I don't care, it's my empire and I'll do what I want. And so here we are. But this, your family is fully aware that Revelation is heading out, and that this is big news. This is exciting stuff, that you're going to be a part of this historic mission. And You probably have nephews and nieces. They want you to bring them back souvenirs.
Yeah. You might not want to pick something you'll enjoy 28 years from now.
Bring me back a mushroom.
You're probably not going to be as interested in toys.
Right.
Bring me some fungus among us.
Yes. Can you bring me back a mushroom sample?
Yeah.
So Jack, are you back with us? Mr. Gabriel? I don't know what happened to him. You might be having a mic problem.
Yeah.
Because I keep hearing a click.
How many nades should I bring?
How many nades do you want to bring?
Oh, speaking of which, that was something I mentioned last time, that I don't think any of us had any skill in explosives. So,
I do. I got a wafer for it now.
I don't. Is it an int based? I guess it is.
They ask for skill for explosives. At least in the book I read.
Yeah, explosives would be int or education, but grenade, if you're hucking a grenade, that's athletics dexterity.
So your wafer jack's not going to help with that.
Right.
Because wafer jack will only help with int or education based skills.
So previously, I did give you guys stuff on the standard equipment of Deepnight Revelation, and one of those, well, two of those items, they do carry essentially what could be considered pocket nukes. One, I believe, is in the megaton range. One is in the kiloton range. Really depends on what it is you're nuking. Those are under serious lock and key, and you have to have serious confirmation from the captain and the first officer, and probably the third officer, before that armory is unlocked and you're given access to those. Aside from that, one of the other things that is supplied, and it's about the size of a briefcase, it is a universal, I mean, I don't think they actually call it this, but they might. It's a universal translator. And this device, given enough time, it can listen to speech patterns, and the AI in it will learn the language and then spit out an approximate translation. So any of the potential races that you may meet beyond charted space, you'll be able to understand them. So back to Bocephus, you said that you were setting up your med bay?
That's correct.
Here, let me find.
Yeah. I also want to give a DNA sample of my spider bladder knockout juice.
Okay.
To the intelligence service. I just think that they might want this for shits and giggles, you know, with a full detailed report on what that spider venom does.
So down here on deck 1 of the central pods, you will be given one of these med bays. As you can see, that there are numerous.
Did we get paid after the last mission?
Yes, you did. You each get another 10,000 credits.
Got it. Okay. That's I'm about to buy my flame rifle.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of stuff.
There's flame rifles and pistols in the ship's armory.
Yep.
That's fine. I want my own.
I want my own.
Yeah, I mean, you might want to buy a flame pistol. I mean, they do have a flame rifle that does require heavy weapons. You might look I haven't looked to see if there is a pistol.
The flamer that they had a much better range.
Yeah, it's pretty beefy, but it does require heavy weapons.
But it required heavy weapons, whereas the flame rifle has only a 10-meter range, but it is a energy weapon.
And it's not extra bulky.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for having access to TL-15 stuff, that particular flame rifle that they've got, a little disappointing, but it is a little hardcore too.
Well, you get 4 or 5 people. The fact that it has range, and I mean, it's a nice weapon. Bulky's not as important if you don't plan on getting real close.
Well, I mean, you're probably not going to want to try and hide a flame rifle under your overcoat. So bulky shouldn't really be an issue, but whatever.
Can I get one of the beefy ones?
Yeah, it is. Hold on here.
I already gave Jack a flamethrower.
That's the beefy one?
No, this is a new one.
Oh.
I think it's different than the.
It's not in any of the books. It's
this
designed
is
specifically for this campaign.
Right. Yep.
And it's a lot like the flame rifle, but it has a range of, it was either 40 or 50 meters, and it was bulky.
Yeah, it's a heavy weapon. Here.
Sorry.
They also have Gauss rifle carbines. Those are pretty nice too.
I had a question about that.
Yeah.
Is it reasonable to use the Gauss pistol or rifle in a boarding action, or will they go through the hull?
Depends on what kind of ammo you're using. I mean, they would in a boarding action, cutlasses and
lasers
are really preferred. But I mean, or really snub pistols. Snub pistols and cutlasses are really preferred, but sometimes you just do you.
Well, I got my blade, and I bought a laser pistol. And a stunner. I remembered to buy a stunner. Not going to do much good to the fungus.
Well,
they're not bad.
Here we go. I am adding. This other one is. No. There we go.
I wonder how much can I get bulk by purchases for nades in the gross?
Yes, you can purchase grenades. Pretty much almost anything will be available at the Giikur Naval Base. But still, ask permission, because there's going to be some stuff that they are not going to sell you, because this is not a combat mission. So here you go, Gabe. This is the Instel Arms IW-100 flame rifle.
That's the big one?
That's the big one. Those are standard equipment in the armory on Deepnight Revelation.
Would the plasma weapon be better?
Yeah, you might want the plasma. I mean, if you've got heavy weapons, I mean, here you go, TL-15.
I mean, it'd be cheaper because it doesn't have. You just recharge that on the ship. Versus...
And I mean, it does 1 DD damage. I mean, that's like.
That'll go through the hole.
Yes, yeah. Amen, brother. that does that does spaceship damage. You could hang out an airlock and shoot at pirates with that.
But that just recharges. You know, that's a far in the long run. That's a much cheaper weapon to use.
That's true. Yeah, you don't even need to wear the backpack. You just plug it into the ship's reactor and hang out the airlock and just start hosing shit down.
The big thing I see with that flame rifle is it does the exact same damage and has the exact same blast radius as a flame rifle. But the flame rifle is so much cheaper to operate.
Yeah.
The downside of the flame rifle is it only has a range of 10 versus the range of 40. That's really what you're. That's the real reason to use that weapon, because the power pack for a flame rifle is only 50 credits, and they both have a 10-shot magazine. So you're looking at a tenth the cost to use. You're just sacrificing range for that. Because they're both blast 3, they both do fire, they both do 46. The ironic thing is that the heavy weapon one here is 2 kilograms lighter than a flame rifle. The heavy weapon is lighter than the rifle. But yeah, I think the civilian flame rifle is better. It's just you have to deal with the range problem. Plus, I can just use I don't have to worry about heavy weapon skill, which I don't have.
I don't have.
Yeah, I got some other stuff here. I'll show you. Thought I already did this, but evidently I didn't.
Yeah, you did, but it was between sessions, and so it wasn't.
Right.
We weren't sitting there spending our money, and
I was. I took off any item that was supplied on the ship from my to buy list.
So these are going to be here.
Alright, got it.
Okay, and these are standard issue sidearms. Yes, there is another sidearm.
There's a revolver.
Yes. And actually, that's a really nice revolver. I dig the revolver, to be honest.
So how can I buy one?
You don't need to buy
For
one.
real.
Oh, yeah, for real. Right? No shit.
I need one for my closet.
Right. And then these.
Yeah, that gas pistol is much better than the standard one.
Yes. A lot of these are slightly better.
Armor piercing 3 is nice.
This is the second page of sidearms. This is a smaller Gauss pistol that's relegated to, wussies and diplomatic crew. And then there is for the people with the big balls, there's the 635 revolver. 8.9 millimeter revolver.
I'll probably want
8.9 millimeter, that's got to be like a 454 Casio.
That's what I'm talking about right there, Papa.
No, 8. That's like a 357.
Is it 357?
Yeah, because a 357, a bullet from a 9 millimeter can fit a 357.
That's true.
Yep.
That's true. Yeah. Still, that's a
350.
Yeah, that's a big gun.
357 is a pretty respectful pistol.
Yeah, that's a hand cannon.
Would you like to see mine? All three of them?
So I actually did get the chance to fire a what was it, the Colt 454, and I swear to God, to this day, my wrist and my lower arm will never be the same. That gun fucking hurt to shoot. Like, god damn, that's a big gun.
Do you have the stats on that revolver?
Yeah, it's right. It is right here. 635, tech level 12, range 10 millimeter or 10 meters, 10 millimeters. Damage is 3D minus 3. 0.9 kilograms. Magazine is 6, and refill cost for mag is 2 credits. It has
buy a lot
of
magazines. We may not get a chance to resupply.
Yeah. Well,
can we make ammunition?
Yes, the workshops have fabricators, so I mean, theoretically speaking, they can at the very least replenish your ammo, and at worst, they can make new guns.
They can make vehicles and other things piece by piece. I mean,
assuming that they have the supplies to do so.
Yeah.
They have to have raw resources.
Might make some runs for the stuff to make gunpowder, but...
Right, yeah. Does anybody... this is going to be obscure, but does anybody else remember there was an episode of, like, Transformers where they basically taught kids... They were, like, on a primitive planet, and they taught kids how to make fucking gunpowder. Like, oh, well, you just need, seagull crap, and then you mix it with sulfur. And I'm like... I remember, I think I was in high school, and it was on TV, and I come out, and I look at this, and I'm like, the fuck are they teaching me? And they're bitching. At the time, it was all big because, oh my god, the anarchist cookbook. And I'm like, they're teaching people how to make fucking gunpowder on Transformers.
The anarchist cookbook taught a lot of crazy recipes and crap.
Oh, they had some stuff in there that was really, really stupid that could get you killed if you tried it. But
yes.
But my dad's high school chemistry book, that was one of their experiments, was making gunpowder.
Making gunpowder, right.
So my dad had that. I just remember as a kid reading his chemistry book going, oh, here you go right there. We can make it ourselves.
Right. I don't need to buy it.
That's the teacher's guide to high school chemistry. It's got all kinds of stuff in it. It's from the 60s.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, well...
You want nerve gas?
We have
a local.
How about some VX?
we have a local shop that's sort of the witch's supply store, and they sold saltpeter, and so I remember in high school going in there trying to buy saltpeter, and they were smart enough to not sell it to us, But it was the only place we could figure out that we could buy it.
So this is
the hardware.
This is
buy it at Lowe's and Home Depot.
This is standard shipboard long arms. This is the Deepnight carbine, which is a standard 4mm Gauss rifle, but it is shorter for corridors. Of course, they're not going to use that standard aboard ship. They're going to use the Security 12 shotgun. That's your standard security long arm.
That's your boarding gun right there.
The shotgun, yeah. Well, I don't know. It depends on how much you want to keep the ship. I mean, if you're boarding, you probably want to use the carbine. If you're repelling boarders, you might want to use the shotgun. And then there is also, this is a beauty. If you like the hunting. And this is more for resource gathering. If you need food and that of that nature. This is what is called the pony gun. Now, when they talk about ponies, they're not talking about what little girls get for their birthday. They're talking about the pony, which is the official symbol of the Imperial Interstellar Scout Service, which is basically something along the lines, it kind of looks like a brontosaurus with 6 legs, and it runs really fast. This is the pony gun. It is a 2-shot hunting rifle that does 5D damage per shot.
It's like more an elephant gun.
It's basically an elephant gun, yeah.
I want one of them.
Yeah, those are available for surface crews. Expecting big game or dangerous wildlife.
You need to get a still, man.
Oh, well, I mean, I can get us some alcohol making. I mean, I have my own med bay. No one will expect it. It's classified. Yeah, classified shit going on in here.
I tell you, there's no way you're going to carry it out for 28 years.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I want to change my name to Jose and give myself a second dick, and that'll be my Hose B.
Whatever.
I've got a buddy who was in intelligence in a submarine crew, and he said he made a lot of money selling porn.
Oh, no shit. No shit. I'll be in my rack.
I actually work with a guy that served on a submarine for 12 years.
This is standard uniform working dress. I don't know.
Oh, that looks great.
Yeah, I don't know why they went with orange and gray, but I don't know. It's kind of grown on me. Orange and gray, and the vest has epaulets? Yeah, whatever.
That's so we can see each other, man.
Right,
And
yes.
Put rank on them,
Someplace to stick your gloves.
Yeah.
So that's standard working dress. There is... So that's your standard working dress ship side. The standard working dress planet side is much more interesting.
Is it antifungal?
Probably not.
No, probably. Well,
I'm going to highly advise the medical staff to use lots of antifungal stuff. Demand it on everything from the cleaning bots, to the maid service, the stewards. I mean, really, we should take a high anti-fungus approach to our way of life.
Just keep cans of Lotrimin foot spray around like it's bear spray.
And replace all the ship lights with UV.
Yeah.
So this is standard planet side work dress.
I like that.
Yeah, it comes with a respirator, kind of a
protection one I don't like.
Yeah, a coverall hoodie, kind of thing. I mean, it's useful against like snakes and small animals and thorny vegetation. It's not going to be good against gunfire, which, they're not. This is not a combat mission.
Sure.
Not only that, the fungus doesn't fight very well.
Right.
But +1's not enough.
Well, you keep saying it's not a combat mission, but the mission ends if we can't do combat when we need to.
Well, true, and they kind of got you covered with that.
Yeah, that's why I'm going the grenade route. I'm getting some incendiary grenades and some stun grenades.
Can we fabricate grenades?
Yeah, we should be able to do that. We just need the raw materials.
So I only bring 144 of each.
Not that many.
That's a gross.
Yeah, no, if you want to purchase grenades, you can buy them individually and let me know what kind of grenade you want to buy and how many. And also, I'll tell you what they're willing to sell you. But this is standard shipboard body armor. It ain't great, but this is what standard security personnel in a serious situation would be putting on.
+4 in a serious situation.
Well, like I said, it's not a combat mission. They're expecting, maybe people with clubs and knives.
That's not a serious situation as far as I'm concerned.
Something tells me we're the security backup.
Something tells me they have a different definition of serious situation.
I'm already better equipped than what they'll do as far as clothes are concerned.
Right. Yeah, the real issue is whether they require you to wear official uniform.
Oh no, we're our own thing. We are civilians, right?
Well, no, you will be given a rank, which you guys will need to determine. What are you going to choose a rank for somebody to be in charge? Are you all going to take the same rank? How do you guys want to handle that?
We should all be warrant officers.
That would actually be appropriate.
Because nobody knows exactly what they do anyway.
Right. Well,
they're just badasses.
Yeah, warrant officer. Yeah, it's a really weird rank. That's one of those,
or chief warrant officers, one or the other.
Yeah, warrant officer is one of those really weird ranks, kind of like Commodore. And it's like, well, what the fuck is a Commodore? Well, a Commodore only exists if they are granted a battlefield commission, and then they get to hang on to it after the battle and after the war is over. You don't go 30 years after a war and find very many Commodores left around. You know what I mean? They only exist right after a war because, oh shit, that ship sank. We better this guy over here who's a captain, hey, you're a Commodore now because you're in command of these 3 other ships. So there you go. So yeah, warrant officer is kind of one of those where it's like, yeah, how does that come about? What the fuck did they do?
They're ranked between chief petty officer and sub-lieutenant in the Navy.
Right.
Are they?
Between staff sergeant and second lieutenant in the Army, and between flight sergeant and pilot officer in the Air Force.
Well, and my dad was in the Navy, and even he was confused. He's like, well, I don't know what they do. I think they're like, he's like, every warrant officer I ever dealt with was an MP. Like,
yeah, I mean,
all right.
Well, in the Army, they're mostly pilots of helicopters or technical people like repair for Patriot missile systems.
But yeah, there are a lot of X enlisted.
So this is your standard.
I happen to be a reserve second sub-lieutenant. Does that make any difference?
The sub-lieutenant or sub-lieutenant is not nearly as confusing as warrant officer. Warrant officer is just nebulous. I think warrant officer has been left nebulous over the years just so that they can make up shit for warrant officers to have to do. Oh, well, today your duty, we're going to stick this guy into this hole. It's a round hole and he's a square peg and we don't give a fuck. And though, you know what? A square peg will fit in a round hole if you use a hammer that's big enough. And that's why warrant officers are so nebulous. So this is a standard vac suit that they have.
We could also be like the CIA and just wear our civilian clothes and do our civilian shit. But, while we don't officially claim any kind of title or anything, when we tell the captain shit, the captain listens and just like, fuck, really? I've got to do that? And then does it.
Nope. Everybody on ship will be wearing at least the standard work dress. So everybody will be in uniform and everybody will have some kind of rank insignia so that everybody knows who everybody is.
Okay.
So everybody's going to know that you guys are the resident badasses that are first in, first out, but aside from that, they may not fully know completely what it is that you do.
So do we get special patches on our uniform?
You do.
We don't have any patches. That's what makes us special.
Yes.
We're like SEALs or Green Berets where we can just walk around, but we have beards.
Right, yeah. You're the only ones that are allowed to grow facial hair. This is the standard hostile environment suit.
I think my boarding suit's better.
It
give it
might be.
all of our personal gear is all better.
So this is standard hostile environment suit on board.
That's actually pretty nice. Well, heavy.
To be honest, security personnel, if there was something like a boarding action needed or something of that matter, this is probably what they would put on. Because I mean that counts as a hostile environment, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's got
well,
the
it's mostly high if you're dealing with radiation or
right.
Crazy.
And then there is.
We should have our own color of those.
We get red and fungus background.
Then there's the standard.
My cloth armor's got the chameleon full motion option. I mean, I just wondered if I could make it look like the standard issue.
Yeah, you could. This is the standard exploration suit.
That's badass.
This is like, I mean, when shit goes sideways beyond the hostile environment suit, this is the suit that you want. It's basically a walking mech suit.
What's its protection?
It
doesn't.
It does not say.
Plot.
I would think, yeah, it moves at the speed of plot. I would think that this probably counts as like Pioneer battle dress.
I may wear that everywhere.
Right. Every time I leave the ship, I'm exploring. So I
gonna look funny in the cafeteria.
Right. Yes.
No, won't. I'll get used to it. It might be a little bit big for the hallway, though.
Yes, you have to turn sideways down most hallways. And then they also have standard hand weapons. And here again, so I've been having this issue with Roll20. I know that I put all of this in before, and some of my files are missing. I don't know what happened, but these are standard hand weapons. Field knife, survival blade, hatchet, baton. Yeah, the survival blade's more like a... Or not the field knife, I think is... Or no, survival blade's more like a machete. And then this... Last but not least is... This is your complete loadout for the stocks of the ship as far as weapons. So this shows you all of the items that they have available. So those 10 megaton nuclear demolition charges, they only have 2 of those.
You're going to need a lot more than that if we're playing a planet full of fungus.
I don't know. 10 megaton, that's pretty brutal.
It won't crack a planet, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, you may not need to. But Cephas seems like he's all over that shit.
These planets are out in the middle of nowhere, so why are we cracking it?
Well, I mean, not to mention the fact the fallout after that blast. You know, if you find a central major cluster and you throw a 10 megaton nuclear demolition charge at it, then there's the fallout. So, I mean, the radiation theoretically should kill all of the rest of this fungus too. But you know.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I can find some kind of any kind of creature that just eats and absorbs fungus and like a slug or something, can just absorb it in all directions, and that's what I'm hoping to find.
So so Gabriel, is there anything that you wanted to purchase before leaving? So basically, these guys are going to basically visit any planet within 12 parsecs. If they were, visiting family or what have you before they leave, and the Navy is using fast couriers with Jump 6, so you can jump wherever you want to go within 12 parsecs. Visit family if you want. There's not. I mean, Giikur Naval Base is really kind of at the ass end of the Imperium. I don't know.
I don't think I need anything.
But you are at a naval base, so if there's something you want to buy, let me know what it is, and we can deal with that.
You guys might want to look at Diplo vests or something like that will fit under. That'll actually provide some armor and be comfortable to wear under the standard issue stuff.
And everybody from your last mission, you were by the corporation, you were paid 10,000 credits, which kind of 10 grand is nice, but it seems woefully low for what you had to deal with.
No kidding.
Don't we still have the ship fund that we had?
Yeah.
I mean, can we just divide that up?
You could.
Yeah, I think we can at this point.
Yeah, you might as well.
Can we sell the ship?
I mean, unless we're going to start our own enterprise on the business, our own business on the ship itself.
So that's
making alcohol.
Yeah, our grain alcohol.
Okay,
alcohol and love dolls.
So, except for Sarda, because he took off and went home, Randolph, Jack, and Bocephus, all of you make investigate plus intellect checks. Or you can make recon plus intellect check. Your choice.
Ooh.
And actually, Jack, you can roll a third dice and take the higher of the three.
You just really need me to make it, don't you?
Well, because you are military, you're going to be looking for this kind of thing. So you get a boon.
You gave him a boon, and he got the lowest.
That's still pretty good.
He's a Marine. He gets a boon?
Yeah. But Randolph and Bocephus, you all actually got it. So, as the three of you have stayed behind and are kind of touring the ship, Bocephus is setting up his med bay, and this central pod, I don't think. Let me Deepnight. This doesn't tell me.
You might want to look at those expandable shields if you're looking at gear to buy.
I think I've already kind of grabbed that kind of stuff.
It's pretty nice. Adds 8 protection.
Yeah, I bought one, but I don't think I have the right stats for it. And then the only thing I need is that Diplo armor.
Yeah, the Diplo vest.
Stats on that.
It adds. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I'll get you info on both.
Okay, thanks.
So essentially,
the expandable shield, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
So essentially, your guys' quarters are going to be on deck 2 of this one of these central pods. There's 2 of these, and of course, Bocephus's med bay is down here. And basically, the central pods are going to be your mission pods. The forward pods are set up for hangars and things of that nature, while the rear pods or the aft pods are going to be recreation areas and more staterooms, things of that nature. But you guys are in a central pod, and as the three of you are kind of basically touring the ship, and at some point, your tour guide runs off, and there's guys in the hallway there's sparks flying everywhere. There's wires hanging down. They are not done yet. And, Sarda has left for a couple of weeks to visit family. And as these panels are open and you are left without a tour guide, you are left to your own devices and kind of wander around as you want, which is completely your purview. You are command rank, and you wander around, and it occurs to you that with all of the refits that have been done to this ship, so this ship is no longer really there's a lot of shit that's been taken out because they needed space for cargo, and they needed space for this, and they needed space for that. And what happened was it created all of these nifty little hidey hole crawlways where people can stash shit. And
contraband.
You guys have already found several cases of liquor and various drugs and boxes of porn holograms and all manner of stuff. They're stashed here and there. Not anything that's going to be a major security risk, but on a mission that's going to be 20 to 28 years, obviously there's going to be a black market.
Those morphine addicts really need a lot of supply.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say that there's probably morphine. Well, maybe there's morphine addicts, but there are some drugs.
We should just mark that and wait for George to investigate who's doing the drugs and uncover the black market rather than just steal their shit.
Right.
Well, my suggestion.
Now, what is your suggestion?
They leave the stuff there and mark the location.
Right.
Yep. And then wait for George, because he's the one that is the cop. And when we got him, we as we're in jump space, we'll have plenty of time to see who accesses those stashes. It's far more beneficial to us to know who is on the black market and doing it and what they're doing than just to make them change hiding spots as they get more shit.
Having been in multiple combat areas, I would think Jack would know that the first thing that is set up after a new government takes over whatever area that they have claimed, the first thing that happens is a black market basically springs up behind them. And the real fact of the matter is that no civilization can function without a black market. It is a simple truth. There has to be an outlet for all of that, against all of those laws. And in most cases, if it is minor and maintained, most governments tolerate it. I wouldn't say they ignore it, but they tolerate it. And it's usually a slap on the wrist for those running those black markets. It's not until things get completely batshit out of control that there's a massive crackdown.
I'm not even saying we crack down on them with George, but if we discover who they are, and we kind of monitor what they're doing, if we ever need use of them, we have that. We know who to approach.
That's just streetwise with a military specialization, is what that is.
Exactly. That's called military intelligence, not streetwise.
You get what I'm saying.
Just install bugs. Just to put a bug on there so you know who's accessing it.
Did you guys ever? Did any of you guys ever watch Burn Notice?
Yeah.
The one thing that they really brought out in that show is that, we have this thanks to James Bond, we have this romanticized image of spies. The reality is that spies are just sanctioned government criminals. That's all they are.
Like the Pirates of Drydock.
Like the Pirates of Drydock.
Right. I became obsessed with that plot. That USA Network had a plot, the plot format that they would follow. They had like 5 different shows that all followed the exact same plot format. And so you knew that, like, if you tuned in 17 minutes into the show, this is what will be happening.
Right.
And they would ratchet the season storyline ahead the first few minutes of the show and at the very end of the show, and then they would have a standalone in between. And it was Burn Notice, it was White Collar, it was
yeah, I remember that.
Royal Pains. There were like 5 shows, and they all followed the exact same plot format. And so I became really obsessed with the meta of how the storylines.
Well, like the first 2 seasons.
Was this before or after the lockdown?
This is
when they were live, when they came out. This would be 10 years ago when the shows were on the air.
But I remember, like, the first episode of Burn Notice, what really caught my attention was, like, where he gets into the fight he tricks the guy into taking him into the restroom. And he's like, the best place to get into a fight is in a public restroom because there are a lot of hard surfaces. And so you just use them all to your advantage. And, like, he busts a toilet with the guy's forehead, and that's how he kills him. And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. As long as you're not the one hitting the hard surfaces, right?
The most dangerous thing in a restroom is that mop wringer. Not the bucket. You just take the actual mop wringer. It has a lever kind of action. Really, I saw a guy get hit with one, man. It's the most brutal bludgeoning device I've seen.
Yeah, it's like a gigantic medieval mace.
Yeah, but yeah, you're in a bathroom and things get freaky. Grab that mop wringer and hit the guy in the dick sucker and see how it works out.
So yeah, you guys discovered that there are all these hidey holes where you can stash shit. So if you guys want to purchase extra stuff in that vein, there is plenty of space for you to hide cases of liquor and, I mean, all manner of contraband.
I think as long as our doctor has a still, we're in good shape.
Man, yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've got my med bay, and it is need to know only. I mean, really, no one should go in my med bay.
So Randolph,
would an auto bar fit in my facility, my room?
The downside of the auto bar is it only has a 2-liter capacity. That is very little liquor over 28 years. You need to be able to refill it.
Randolph, you're down on deck 4 at one point. You guys are touring the engine rooms.
And I'm trying out my new wafer jacks on power supply and life support.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, everything looks like it is in the stages of being ready to rock and roll. But you do, in part of these little spaces, you do find that somebody has created a still based off of the one of the fusion reactors.
Amazing.
They're using a fusion reactor for the bottle or for the heat.
Well, for the heat. This isn't the first time. This is an old spacer trick. You've been completely aware of this kind of situation in the past. And yeah, they have a still. Your recommendation
One of the maintenance techs that got ahead of everybody.
Well, your recommendation when seeing this is that they need more copper tubing. Otherwise, a lot of people are probably going to go blind. But aside from that, the concept is sound.
I think I do want to go ahead and get prepared to synthesize my own high grade biochemical alcohol line.
The real issue is how to make vermouth. I mean, if we're gonna have martinis, gin's easy. The vermouth is rough.
Oh man, I could put
juniper berries are going to be hard to find.
See, I like vodka martinis, and I like to look at a bottle of vermouth and then forget that it even exists.
Well, I mean, vodka's easy too, but it's.
I wave the glass around a bottle and then I put in some olives. I'm good to go. So this is your journey. The next jump, leaving the Drydock, will be from Giikur directly to Hebredick. And they're going to go... The plan is... Wrong book. So the plan is to go from Hebredick to Britzi, and from Britzi to Hishimaki. And that is your... More or less, that is your shakedown cruise. And when leaving from Giikur to Hebredick, from that start point, they are going to be traveling at a rushed, hurried rate. So basically, they will not be docking at Hishimaki, or I'm sorry, at Hebredick, Britzi, or Hishimaki. They will be doing wilderness refueling. And they are estimating 3 days refuel time before they jump again. And so that's some serious work for a ship this size. They're going to be sending out quite a few of their subordinate craft. And while those subordinate craft are grabbing fuel, they will have subordinate craft that will also be out mapping the system, just to test out your guys's, the ship's readiness for this kind of situation. And after Hishimaki, they will be making a direct beeline for Tobiah at fastest possible speed. They're kind of in a hurry to try and get to Denman, which is way the F out in... What is it? Incognita... What is that? It is way out in, like, Incognita sector, or subsector. Incognita... Incognita Citerior. So, for those of you with TravelerMac.com up, it is quite a ways out from where you guys are currently at. So they're going to be making best possible speed up the Dust Belt chain through Florian League and through the Spinward Extents to Incognita Citerior sector to get to Demnon Point.
Well, while we're doing all that,
I hope we get a vacation on Torpal.
Yes. You had to sit in the ice floes and look at holographic views of tropical beaches.
Well, we go to the actual tropical resorts. They're along the hemisphere. You don't have to go to the downport. It's only the beginning.
Right.
I mean, it's a tropical paradise otherwise.
When I get to 10 of my neon venom doses, when I'm able to harvest that much, I'm going to go ahead and just take DNA samples of the organ, and I will do away with it so I can use my stuff for other things.
Okay.
So I'm just going to mark that I have 10 of those neon venom doses, and I'll just save samples so I can recreate my my venom sac if I need to.
Okay.
In the future. And then I want to try to synthesize some high-grade alcohol that will produce a calming and relaxed effect. I really want to get into some chemical research here and try to, really produce.
It has no hangover effects.
Yeah, I want to produce.
It is mildly psionic.
Yes, exactly. That has just a nice, calming, chill effect throughout everything. And this, I really do. I want to spend some time and especially while we're spending weeks on these initial runs, to get something ready for when we're out. Especially before we have any real medical emergencies or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So I do. I want to produce something fruity and nice, and just just mild hallucinations that are nice and calm and peaceful.
This will be the last thing that we do tonight. Make a science, chemistry plus intellect or education check.
All right. So
this is going to be a good opportunity to work on our gambler skill.
Right?
Yeah. Well,
I've got Gambler 1, and I'm clairvoyant and telepathic.
Well, that's a 9.
Okay. So you are able to make 100 proof liquor distilled with slightly hallucinogenic effects.
Perfect.
Yeah. Beautiful. Hell yeah. I'm gonna call it the Bocephus special. And yeah, I'm gonna keep that rolling.
So next
Hell yeah, everybody.
So next week we will deal with the departure of Deepnight Revelation. Sarda will be coming back from his family journey, and there will be a departure ceremony. Champagne and a bottle being thrown out in space and smashing against the hull of the ship, the whole 9 yards. Christening the launch of Deepnight Revelation, and you guys will be aboard next week on Friday night at 7:00.
Thank you. It was wonderful. I had a wonderful time.
Thank you.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad that we're getting this main journey underway.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm gonna name my monkey. I think I'm gonna call it Benji.
Nice.
We'll see. Yeah.
You've got a pet monkey you're bringing with you? Is that what's going on?
He does.
Yeah.
He found a pet monkey in the observatory on Alpha.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, so it's a wonderful animal. We scanned it out. It didn't have any. Yeah.
Be our canary.
Well,
send it into all the caves full of the fungus first, right?
Right. I think I'm going to teach it how to throw grenades.
Fuck yeah.
What could go wrong there?
Right. It's either poop or grenade. I don't know. He's not that good at it yet.
Yeah, we're working on it. Y'all have a great night.
You too. Have a good night.